What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another FIFA 20 video. In today's episode, we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're actually going to be starting a brand new series on the channel that I'm going to be calling Squad Building Sunday. Basically, what's going to happen is on Twitter, I will be sending out like a player for you guys to build a squad around. And then you guys can submit your squads and I'll actually just review them and I'll choose my favorites. That way, we're going to be picking like players that are pretty new and popular and people want to use. So that way we can build squads around them and maybe some people can get ideas about that, as well as I can get you guys involved in, something fun. I believe we have over 11 squad submissions today. So we're going to go through each and every one, say what's good and what's not. And then, I'll pick my two favorites. I'll pick one based off like which one I would want to use the most and which one's the most creative. By creative, I mean like which one has, the most leagues, different links and all that good stuff. So let's just get into it. We'll get into the first couple right now. The budget that I chose for this was 2 million. The card came out at about 160k yesterday. So I didn't want to make it, too expensive because obviously anyone can throw in like every icon with this card. But today's card is going to be Hulk. We have a budget of 2 mil. Hulk is a new one that came out yesterday, and I think he's going to be one of the more popular choices. He's got decent face stats. The problem is he's a little bit stockier of a player. So it's going to be interesting. So the first squad we're going to be talking about is from Ryan here. And he built a very decent squad here. I myself like this. It came out at 1.8 mil. What I did like about the squad is the way he linked the Brazilians. I'd imagine, you'd switch to the usual meta of a 4-2-3-1 with Allen going in at CDM with Fred. But it's a good way to combine some of the newer cards that are out, especially for a lot of you guys who have those untradables like Hope and Fred and whoever else it may be. This looks like a pretty decent squad, and it was a good use of using different leagues. I mean, we have three different leagues in this one right here with a few different nations. So I mean, this squad is a pretty decent one. Next up for the next squad, we have it from Mujahid here, who is in the Discord. He's one of the owners of it. He usually makes some pretty decent squads usually, and right at 1.8 mil again. Another use of Allen, as well as use of another different Brazilian, and we have a very widespread. We have 6 different leagues in 4 different nations. So this is one that's actually pretty interesting. I like how he used all these different ones. He's got the Militao and the Carlos together at the back line, which is a pretty solid defense. This is a team I would want to try. I haven't used Hulk yet, so I don't know how great he is up top. But I mean, looking at his squad right now, it looks pretty decent with the Lozano and the Costa 2 out wide. This was a good build right there. Next up, we have a squad from @stan6536, a lot of other numbers. And he built a pretty decent squad here for 2 mil, and he actually included, a Neymar in this squad too. So he's got the Hulk and then the Paulinho to link with each other. So for those who have those untradables, pretty decent. Then he's got a Gabriel Jesus at cam, and I'm interested to see what we would switch in game with that. I do think Gabriel Jesus is getting a special card soon. Just don't know when. It could be later today. It could not. But then he links it with the Mahrez, which is we've seen as a very common combination in these squads so far. Linking it with the Real Madrids at the back, and then the Ter Stegen and net. A pretty solid team, and this is probably the most meta squad we've seen so far. Just under 2 mil as well. I would honestly use this squad in a weekend league. I don't know how good Hulk is, but Paulinho's pretty decent. We got Neymar up there. Gabriel Jesus, yeah, he's a low rated, but he's always one of those cards that is pretty good. And then obviously the Mahrez with a very solid backline. Varane and Militao are both very good center backs. Next up, we have a squad from Nathan Eager, and this is a squad that he recommended here. Again, another use of that winter refresh up at the top, and then he uses Hulk at cam, which is a pretty interesting one. This one's just slightly over budget, but obviously we could use a lower version of Baresi. But this is a very good squad. It actually incorporates a lot of the new cards, and so far this is probably one of the more creative sides I've seen so far. Just coming in a little over budget though, so obviously we'll switch the icon out if we were to use this. But we got a lot of the League SPC cards, which I think is pretty cool, as well as a few winter refresh, a few flashbacks. And then an interesting use in that back line. This is a back line I don't think I'd ever see in a normal game. So far this is a pretty creative squad, especially with the 5 leagues too. Very good use here. Next up, we have a squad from Oliver underscore Wilco5, and he has an interesting one here. He's the first person to use 3 at the back, and this squad is pretty creative as well. We have a use of the Arnautovic out there to link with Hulk, but then we got the Paqueta inside linking up to Ibra, then with the Lozano, and this is by far one of the more creative sides. We have a huge Austrian link here on the side, which is something I don't think you'd ever see in any game. Using the new Manolas 2 to link with Zielinski and Lozano, and this squad is pretty decent. We got a few different leagues in here. I believe we got, what, 3? Serie A, Chinese Super League, and then Bundesliga. So far at only 1.5, this one is one of the more under budget squads. This one looks like a fun squad to use. I haven't used the defenders yet, and I feel like the CDMs are a little bit on the weaker side. But I mean, the way he linked this all together is quite an interesting way. Next up, we have a squad from David Futcoin Seller here, and this is a very creative squad here. We got the Sane out wide with the Dembele, which I think is a pretty good use. He has the Kaká up there to link Hulk, give him that green link with Fabinho too. Then De Jong in the midfield with Koeman and De Ligt in the back, which I think is a very creative Netherlands back line right there in the center of the field. And then linking with that Handanovic, which is a pretty good card, honestly, if you guys haven't used him. He's one of the top goalies if you do have a Serie A side. And then he's got Semedo and Dembele on the right, and then the Cancelo and Sane on the left. A pretty decent squad, and he is within budget. Next up, we have a squad that is very under budget here, only at 1.45 mil. And this one looks like a very interesting one to use. Somehow he involves the Tevez in here. He has that perfect link between the Argentinians down in the right. Then he's got Hulk and Eduardo and a Talisca together out there on the top with a Souza and a Giovinco. This one is an interesting squad. Something, this is one of the more creative ones as well that we've seen. At just 1.45 mil too, he makes a pretty good side. Honestly, this one is not one that will fit the meta, but this is one of those more creative ones. Next up, we have a squad from at YFN_Membratu. I'm sorry if I didn't pronounce that right, but this one again, we're seeing another use of that Fabinho, Jesus, and Hulk up at the top, with Seedorf in the middle, and then you got another Mahrez out on the right with Cancelo, but he links this one in with Van Dijk. And then he uses Lloris to link Varane and Mendy. We have that Mane out there, and then a Seedorf in the middle to give Van Dijk that 9-10 chemistry that he needs, as well as link the rest of the team together. This was a very good use, and this one is another really meta squad. Just under 2 mil as well. This one is, a squad you can use to get in your weekend league and stuff. The Jesus, a lot of people have used him. I just wish he had a better special card. The special cards he just barely gets any. It'll be interesting to see what EA include upcoming, but I think, a new Jesus would be a really good squad linking card to, Prem and all that. And finally, to finish up the squad building Sunday, we have a squad from Luciano, and he uses something we haven't seen yet either. We have Hulk linked up with Lucas and then Leonardo, then down to the Fred, Paulinho, and Son. A very good use of the Son there. I'm not sure what he switches to in game with this squad, but this is one that would be kind of interesting to see. He then has the Ferdinand with Wan-Bissaka, Militao, Areola, and then Teles on the side. Everyone's on full chem, just under 2 mil again. And this is a squad that's pretty decent too. Something we haven't seen yet. And good use of the SBC players, as well as just, objectives too. This is a squad that you could probably use in FUT Champs as well, or even some rivals. This would be a fun one. Again, Hulk is an interesting card. He's a little bit stockier. It's going to be interesting to see how he plays out in game. But I thought it'd be cool to kind of, build squads around him for this episode. So the 2 squads that I'm going to choose as my favorites, I guess. This squad wins for the most creative. This one here by Wilkesy. Just the way he used this squad as something with 3 in the back and then linking with the Austrian players, I thought that one was probably the most creative, and he has good use of all these different cards. These are cards we don't really see too often used, so this one by far goes as the most creative, and he was very under budget too, which was a pretty good move. I have to say my favorite squad here is probably going to be Stan's squad here. He just has a lot of meta players. This is a squad that you can use pretty decently in weekend league. I like the way the Varane and Militao combination is just very OP. Plus including Neymar into this squad, it just makes it even more usable. So this one is probably going to be my favorite, meta squad with Hulk in it. Again, this is just my opinions. Let me know in the comments down below, which are your favorite 2 squads, which one do you find the most creative, and which one would you want to use the most in like a weekend league game. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys want to get involved for next week, make sure you guys follow me on Twitter. It will be linked down in the description below. Get involved, guys. It's pretty fun, and we'll do this next week as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy it, drop a like on this video, and if you guys are new around here, make sure you guys subscribe. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.